Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a fabulous Monday. Today I'm coming at you with our weekly Minks Monday Q&A. Before we get started, let me share the bag that I'm currently rocking, and that is the Chanel Jumbo in the black caviar leather with the gold hardware. Alright, so grab your coffee, grab your tea, let's start your workout, let's go to work, let's do your laundry, whatever it is that you do, come join me. We have some awesome topics to cover today. But I am curious. I know some of you guys watch when you're on your way to work. I know some of you guys watch when you are cooking breakfast. I would love to know what you do when you watch Minks Monday. I'm just curious. If you can let me know in the comment section down below, that would be fabulous. All right, so on to our very first question from Amelia Ellington. I have a question that I hope you don't think is silly. Do you or would you buy a handbag that is not from a high-end fashion house? I really like designers like Kate Spade, etc. I'm afraid that if I get a Louis Vuitton or other, that I'll never go back. I love this, and there's no such thing as a silly question. All right, so have I or would I buy a handbag that is not from a high-end fashion house? I did actually end up adding the Longchamp to my collection back in, back when we were in London this past year. And so far, that's the only one that I've added since I've been buying luxury goods. And I'll be completely honest with you, I have found it difficult. I'm not going to sit here and say, no, not at all, because my collection speaks for itself, but I have had difficulty. And even though I appreciate the contemporary brands and the high street fashion brands, and I like them, and I think that some of the details that they have on their handbags are nice, a lot of them are very similar to, they take inspiration from the high-end fashion houses, but still, I can't really pinpoint why I don't end up going for them. You know what I mean? And it's not always a case of quality either, because I've said that before. You can't dismiss something that's less expensive than a high-end brand and automatically think that it doesn't have great quality. That's not the case. That's not always the case, you know. And I just can't put my finger on it, you know. And I really like them. I think that they're great. Like I said, I like their designs, but for some reason or another, I end up going for the high-end brand. But I also have one on my, that I've had my eye on for quite some time. And that's an All Saints Kita bag. I've loved this bag for maybe, I don't know, the last year and a half. And I've had the opportunity to buy it. And again, there's something that holds me back. I shouldn't dismiss a brand for not having a crazy astronomical price point. But like I said, I'm going to be transparent with you guys. There is something that holds me back. I just don't know what that is. But that Kita bag comes in at, I think it's $398 if I'm not mistaken. And I really like it. It's versatile. I love the leather. But I don't know. I don't know. But I think this is a great question. And like I said, I will always be honest with you guys. I can't sit here and say, oh, for sure. Really, Minnie? Where's the contemporary brand in your collection? Not the Coach bags that I have. I'm talking about something else. I don't have them for the same reason. So I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on the comment section down below. Do you find that you also have that it's harder for you to go back to a contemporary brand now that you've started purchasing luxury goods? I'm very, very curious. Maybe someone out there will have the exact answer why. I don't know, but I always love to hear your guys' opinion on it. But yeah, would I? I would. I don't know what it would be. It might be that Kita bag, but I don't know. I mean, Coach holds a special place in my heart, like you guys saw in my Forever Pieces video. And I've gone into the Coach store from time to time to check out their handbags, and some of them are super cute. Some of them are a little too busy, just like with other fashion houses. But at the end of the day, I end up walking out empty-handed. And I definitely don't want to limit myself to only getting Chanel or only getting Louis Vuitton. I really want to add a little bit more variety to my collection, not so much with not necessarily a silhouette, but just brands in general. And I don't want to completely dismiss a less expensive handbag or a less expensive brand just because it doesn't have that crazy high price point. You know what I mean? So far, the only one that I have gotten within this last time has been the Longchamp. Now, as far as will it happen in the future, I'd like to say that it would. I don't know exactly what handbag that would end up being. It might end up being the Kita bag. It might end up being something completely different. Hopefully, I will end up adding a contemporary brand or a high street fashion brand to my collection and absolutely fall madly in love with it. I don't know. But again, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on the comment section down below. So hopefully that was able to answer your question. Next question from Aaliyah3. Hopefully I said that correctly. I just saw the tote, that's the name of the bag, on the men's section of the Louis Vuitton site. Even though it's a guy bag, I really like it and the pieces of the collection. Do you like it, and do you feel this is a good price point for this bag? This is an awesome question, and I will insert a picture of the tote right now. This bag comes in at $25.10 here in the States. It's part of the split collection for the men's side. And I think that it's very edgy, to be honest. And there's something about it that I really like. And I have no idea what that is. Because a lot of you guys know I'm not one for edgy handbags. But I really like it. It's a conversation starter. I feel that it's a really great addition to any collection, especially if you are a very big fan of Louis Vuitton in general. But I will be honest, I do feel that it does have a pretty high price point for the fact that it's mostly an all canvas handbag, even though it does have the microfiber lining, you have some organization, and you do have the leather trim, but it is also a very large bag. It is 16.5 by 15.2 by 5.9, so it is very large. I really would have liked to have seen maybe a detachable strap on it to make it a little bit more versatile for that price point, but like I said before, it's very interesting, you know, and I'm a big fan of the monogram eclipse, so the fact that you have the black and the white, I don't know, I just really, really like it. There's something about it that attracts me to it, you know, so like I said before, it does have a little bit of a higher price point, but if you are a big fan of Louis Vuitton, then I think that this is an awesome addition to any collection. So hopefully that was able to answer your question. Next question from Pink Girl 3533. What are your thoughts on the Chanel Classic Flap in size small? I have been lusting after the double flap in medium large on the pre-loved market, but noticed that the small sells for nearly $1,000 less than the medium large in the same leather, same hardware. Why is the resale value so much lower for the small size? Do you think this makes it a poor choice for my first Chanel piece? I am 5'2" and I am on the petite side and planning to wear this bag with a single strap over my shoulder. Do you think that the $1,000 savings is worth it, or should I go for the tried and true classic and popular size? This is a great question, and I really like the small size. I know that it's not available here in the United States. It's a lot easier to find in Europe, but I still really like it. Now, as far as why is the resale value so much lower for the small size, this is just my assumption, but I feel that it kind of reminds me of a medium large and a jumbo. When it comes to a jumbo, you can fit a little bit more than the medium large, and there's a huge weight difference between them. You know, at least I feel that there is. The jumbo, after a while, it starts to get a little bit heavy. Of course, it also depends on how much you're carrying with you. But when it comes to the medium large, for me, I can end up wearing it for hours on end, no problem. So I feel that when it comes to the small versus the medium, it's a $600 difference between them, and you can carry a little bit more in the medium large. So in the event that maybe you want to carry a little bit more with you, you have, it's a little bit more versatile in that sense versus always having to downsize with a small size. And when you go for a mini versus a small, there's not a big difference on how much you can end up fitting in there because the minis are single flaps and the smalls are double flaps. So it ends up fitting about the same. So the mini comes in at $3,300. The small comes in at $4,700 if I'm not mistaken. The medium comes in at $5,300. So it's a $600 difference between them. And then you have the jumbo. So the jumbo is a lot heavier than the medium, and the medium and the small, there's not a huge weight difference. You can fit a little bit more in the medium, but still you have the option of carrying a little bit more with you or carrying a little bit less with you, versus with the small, it's I feel like you always have to downsize. So if maybe you want to carry a little bit more with you, then you'd have to go for a completely different handbag. But I'll be honest with you, $1,000 savings is a substantial savings, and I think it's great, but it's mostly a matter of what you feel you'll end up getting the most use out of. Because if you like the medium, or if you like the small, you know, it ends up fitting your frame a lot better. That's great. But in the end, if you don't feel that you're going to use it too often, that you don't really want to downsize too much to the point of it being kind of like a mini or a wallet on chain, and maybe you want to carry a little bit more with you, the versatility quality of the medium large would be the better way to go. But that's just my own opinion. That's how I see it. You know, so like I said, it's kind of like what we discussed with getting more bang for your buck. I want something that it might be a little bit more for the medium large, but it ends up bringing the cost per wear a lot less if you end up using it a lot more than you would the small, if that makes any sense. I feel like I'm throwing so many numbers out there. I feel like I'm confusing myself. But yeah, so that's how I see it. I feel that even if it is a little bit more, if I can get more use out of it in the long run, it's worth it to go that way. But it's all a matter of personal preference. And if you really like the small size, then go for it. And maybe that's another thing that kind of adds to the resale value, the fact that it's not as easy to find the small size versus the medium large. So I feel that it might be a little bit more popular because it ends up fitting a little bit more than the small does. But again, this is just an assumption. Hopefully that was able to give you a little bit of information, but follow your heart and whatever makes your heart sing. But good luck. Next question from Fab Mousy. What can you say about the Gucci small Dionysus bag? Do you have a plan to add this to your collection? Great question. And as of this moment, I don't have a plan to add it to my collection. I think that it's a really cute bag. I know a lot of people are a big fan of it. And to be honest, every time I've gone into the boutique, I seem to gravitate more towards the Dionysus than the popular Marmont. I know actually both of them are very popular. But you know, you can actually carry a lot more in the Dionysus than people might think as far as a small size goes. But I think it's very cute, just not for me at this moment. But great question. Next question from Loves Bags. I'm looking for a Chanel bag in the classic red color that so many people are after. Is there a specific series that was made of better quality lambskin that I should keep my eye out for while searching pre-loved? I don't have a specific bag in mind, but probably more of a classic flap style. Great question. And I believe you're talking about the 13, is it the 13 or the 14 series red lambskin flap that came out. Oh my goodness, that color is insanely gorgeous. It is just like jaw-droppingly beautiful, and you guys know how obsessed I am with a red Chanel bag. And there's also the classic red that Chanel has, which is the OOV or the 00V. That's the one that I have for my wallet on chain, but that color is more of it's more of a brick, but I believe it's either the 13 or the 14 series red with that fabulous lambskin that just looks like it's so incredibly buttery soft. Another one that a lot of people rave about is the 18 series lambskin as well. And I also like this 22 series for my O case. I really love this lambskin leather. It's very soft. It might not be as buttery soft as the 18 or the 13 or the 14, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully I'm not giving you misinformation. I'm almost positive that's those are the series that always stand out in my head. But the 22 series also had really great lambskin in my opinion. But really, when it comes to any lambskin, I know a lot of people might disagree with me, but I feel that even if it's a little bit, even if it's not as soft in the beginning, as you end up using the item, the oils in your hands will make the leather a lot softer over time. So I would definitely, I would not dismiss a certain type of bag that you find if you like the color, if the leather isn't as soft as maybe another one, because it all depends on how it was used or what have you. So hopefully that was able to answer your question, and good luck on your search of finding the red bag that you are looking for. Hopefully someday I will find a red bag to add to my collection as well. But yeah, hopefully that was able to answer your question. All right, next one from Raquel Morgan. What made you want to start a Luxe YouTube channel in the first place? Fabulous question. And when I first started buying luxury pieces way back when, there wasn't a lot of information out there. There wasn't a lot of pros and cons and wear and tear videos or anything like that. So it made it a little bit more difficult to get, information on something that I was potentially wanting to add to my collection. So for me, it was a lot of trial and error. So I decided to start a YouTube channel because I wanted to give people as much information as I possibly could. And even though at that time there started to be a lot more people giving the pros, the cons, the wear and tear, I felt that the more information that's out there, the better. Because that way people can make decisions for themselves to see if that's something that they want to add to their collections or not, And maybe I can help save them money by not going this route or what have you. So anytime I end up doing specifically a review, I kind of tackle it like a school project, you know? I try to give as much information as I possibly can. I try to give the pros and the cons because I've said it before. Just because these handbags have these price points, there's a lot of things that might turn people off about it. You know, just because it's expensive doesn't mean it's always the best of the best. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to give my 2 cents, and like I said, that way the more information that the person has before they make their decision, the better for them, you know, because I've learned a whole lot from what I like, what I don't like, and what ends up working out for me throughout the years with that trial and error. And it would have been nice if there was someone out there saying, hey, this bag has this that drives me crazy. Are you this type of person? Because if you are, this isn't the bag for you. That would have made it a whole lot easier, but you know, you live and learn type of thing. So yeah, that's why I decided to start a YouTube channel, to give my 2 cents to the community and hopefully help people out there. All right, next question from Snitches16. Have you ever considered the brand Loewe? I love the puzzle bag and wallet, but I have yet to see them in person. Any thoughts? Fabulous question. And Loewe has that puzzle bag, and they do have some that have intricate designs. They're a little out there. They're a little too busy for me. But when it comes to their classic puzzle bag, I love it. I will insert a picture of it right now. This bag has gorgeous, gorgeous leather. I have had the opportunity to play with it, and I feel that it's so incredibly soft. And I also like the fact that it's very versatile. You can use it as a backpack, you can use it as a handbag. There's just so many different ways to be able to incorporate it into your lifestyle, and you guys know how I feel about that. I will be honest, I'm not the craziest about the opening to get into the bag, just because it does have a flap over the zipper. But overall, I think that this is a very different bag, but different in a good way, you know? And I really feel that if you're the type of person that appreciates architecture, then I think that you would really end up liking this handbag because of the lines that it has, the silhouette that it has. I don't know. And I feel like the older I get, even though, you know, I have the classics covered with certain fashion houses, I really want to venture into other fashion houses. And Loewe, when it comes to the puzzle bag, has really just attracted my attention within the last, I don't know, maybe 6-7 months. So I really like it. And I believe it retails for $2,900, maybe $2,800, $2,900 if I'm not mistaken. It might have been a little bit more expensive. But it doesn't have a crazy, crazy price point, but it's all leather, and it's just, I don't know, it's gorgeous. It's different, and if you maybe don't want something that has logos everywhere and still has that gorgeous quality leather, then I think that this is a really, really nice bag. So all in all, I'm a fan of the Loewe puzzle bag. The classic, the simple puzzle bag, because like I said before, the other ones are a little too adventurous for my own taste. But great question. Hopefully I was able to answer it. Next question from TigerLily006. I wanted to get your opinion on personal shoppers advertising on Instagram. Have you purchased anything using a personal shopper on Instagram? And if not, would you? This is a fabulous question. Okay, so have I purchased anything using a personal shopper on Instagram? I have not. Would I? I definitely would in the future. And I also had someone ask me, you know, what to look for when it comes to a personal shopper. For me, if I'm debating about using a personal shopper, I like to ask questions about the item that they're selling. And I feel that if you end up asking them questions and you say, well, what about this? What about that? Though, if you feel like you're asking them too many questions and they say, don't worry about it. I want you to feel comfortable with the purchase. I want you to feel comfortable about using my services. That to me makes a really good personal shopper, because if they're dismissive, if they end up saying, oh my goodness, how many questions are you going to ask? That doesn't make me feel all warm and fuzzy to give you my money. You know what I mean? So asking questions, I think, is imperative when it comes to a personal shopper, and also seeing their feedback on Instagram. If you end up seeing that they end up posting that this person was really happy with this purchase, they got this, they got that, the more feedback you see, again, the better you would feel about using their services. And I will also have to say, this is something that I look for. I do follow a couple of personal shoppers, and I'm very particular because I I'm not too fond of personal shoppers that use friends and family when it comes to PayPal, because if you end up using friends and family, you don't pay a fee, but there's no protection. Personally, when I end up selling something on Instagram or anything, I always use goods and services. Yes, I pay a fee, but it gives me the peace of mind that not only does PayPal protect the buyer, it ends up protecting the seller as well. So that to me is important, because let's say that you end up purchasing from a personal shopper, they use friends and family. If something happens, if the item ends up not being authentic or this, that, or the other, when you go back to PayPal, there's really nothing that they can do because you're using the friends and family. You know, it's exactly like the name states. If you're giving your money to a friend, they end up going for you to purchase this or the other. There's really no guarantee. There's no peace of mind. So by using the goods and services, it helps you a little bit more. So whenever I see a personal shopper that strictly only does friends and family, that turns me off, because I want that guarantee. I want that security that when I buy something, if for whatever reason something goes wrong, I can end up having PayPal back me up or anything like that. So those are the things that I end up looking for. But would I buy something from a personal shopper? Most certainly I would on Instagram. But you better believe it that I'm going to ask as many questions as possible to make sure that I feel comfortable about moving forward with the purchase. So hopefully that was able to answer your question. Next question from Luxe Lab Life. I've always appreciated the classicness and look of Chanel pieces. However, they just don't make my heart sing at all. I feel like a lot of them look great on other people, but I can't see myself carrying them. I feel like they would look ugly on me because they are not my typical style. Is there a particular fashion house that you appreciate the history and look of their bags, but find them to be just not for you? This is an awesome question, and I know exactly what you're talking about. There's a particular brand that I love the way that it looks on everyone else, kind of like what you said about Chanel. And then when I go to put it on, I'm like, oh no, I feel like I'm trying way, way too hard. And that is Balenciaga. And I appreciate Balenciaga because it was founded in 1919, and I know a lot of people are a huge fan of their city bags. And for me, you know, even though they have amazing, amazing leather, the fact that they don't have a whole lot of structure to them kind of turns me off. A lot of you know how I feel about structure, but I also find them to be a little too busy for my own personal taste. But every time I see it on somebody, I'm just like, oh man, it looks so great, especially with their outfit. Everything just looks like it complements each other. And then I go to put it on and I'm just like, oh no. No, you're trying way too hard or whatever it is. So I know what you mean, but it has to be Balenciaga. So I appreciate it immensely for what it's brought to the table. As far as their fashion house, not only their handbags, but everything else that goes along with it. But yeah, they're just not for me, but I think that they're great and they look fantastic on other people. But wonderful question. Is there a fashion house for you guys that you feel the same way, that you like it on other people, but for you, every time you try to pull it off, or when you try it on, you're just like, nope, absolutely not. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on the comment section down below. And the last question from Ms. July 76. I've been eyeing the Louis Vuitton Babylon PM for a few months now. Every time I go into Louis Vuitton, my eye goes straight to it. I love the silhouette of the bag and the fact that it's not a sew-in-your-face Louis Vuitton bag. Plus, I've never really seen anyone with it. It retails for $4,100 and I'm in love with it. But I was looking for reviews on this bag and I've only seen one video on it. It's in the Maina calfskin leather. What are your thoughts on this bag and this kind of leather? This is an awesome question, and I have a picture of the Babylon PM and I will insert that right now. This bag is this gorgeous, gorgeous leather. As you know, it's not for me just because it doesn't have a whole lot of structure, but it has that buttery soft leather. It's very, very versatile. It's a very comfortable hobo from what I have, especially if you go onto the purse forum. A lot of people rave about how comfortable the leather is and it'll just soften more over time. Now, personally, I don't have too much information on this leather either, but what I would recommend is to go onto the purse forum, and there's actually a few threads on it, and you can get people's perspective perspective on the bag and how it ends up wearing. I know some people are a huge fan of it because it ends up getting a lot softer as time goes by, and others aren't too crazy about the way that it ends up wearing because it's that soft leather. So if you end up rubbing up against something, you'll end up having if you end up rubbing up against an abrasive surface, then you'll have that on the corners or on the bottom of the bag. But still, my apologies that I don't have too much information on it, but definitely check out the purse forum, and hopefully they'll be able to give you a little bit more feedback on whether or not you want to add this bag to your collection. But you know my motto. I feel that if it makes your heart sing, go for it. But at the same time, it's kind of like how I feel when I see the Vivienne, right? I love the bag. Every single time I'm in the boutique, I try it on. It probably drives Lauren crazy. But I just can't put my finger on why I don't go for it. You know what I mean? So again, maybe the fabulous people on the purse forum will be able to help you out. So hopefully that was able to answer your question. All right, you guys, so that does it for Minks Monday Q&A. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I was able to help. You guys had some amazing questions this week. And I also had a lot of you ask if I can do a what's in my bag with the bug out bag that I showed last week on like a random Saturday. I will definitely try to do that. I will try my hardest to film it, but like I said in that video, it might be like an hour long because I have a lot of stuff in there, like a lot of stuff, and I don't want to make it boring, and I don't want to make it like a 45-minute video or anything like that. So I will try my hardest to tackle it. And my very good friend Laura G, she asked if I also have a bug out bag in my car just in case emergency strikes when we're out and about. And yes, we both have bug out bags in our cars as well as in our home. So I feel like, I don't know, like I said, you call me what you will, but I feel like I feel a little bit better knowing that they're both, you know, I have one in my car and one in home, one in my home. I don't know. All right, so for this week's lineup, I have no idea. I have some vlog footage that I'm trying to put together. I told you guys that I was going to try my hardest to have at least one vlog a month. So since January is completely gone, I'm still trying to piece it together. So that might be up later this week. And I think I'm going to also do my makeup favorites, either on probably Thursday or Friday, or I might even do that as a random Saturday video. I have no idea. But everything's up in the air. I have no clue. All right, you guys, so thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already and you would like to, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the red button down below and hitting that bell so you're notified when I upload videos, which is anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week. And I will see you guys later this week. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not. The choice is yours. Have a great day, you guys.